Hello, welcome to the Women's Cave. Really? Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I had to do it. Like, I have been gracious and kind and humble. I have let you have it for like shows and shows and shows. And then today, I just looked over at her and I was like, I'm going to take the words right out of her mouth. I'm Jade.
I'm Winona. Oh, great. Thank you for allowing me to say that. I am Winona. She's not stealing those words.
No, because I've already stole the beginning. So, it's all good now. Now
wait. We have to high five because we professionally introduced ourselves, although we do have a really important
wait. We got to do it. High five. Social
distance. We have a really important person here today.
I know, but
freaking me out.
I know. So that's why I took the words, because I knew she was going to be like a second delayed. And I was like, ooh, time for me to say the beginning without any interruption from Winona.
Oh, by the way,
I gotta do my little dance. Okay, I had to do my little dance. So
and
I took it.
That's just the next right there.
Anyway, we wrote a bunch of stuff, y'all. We wrote 13, and I thought it's just so much stuff. So we wrote literary life guides with pop poetry.
Yeah.
Fist bump, but like social distance.
Yes, you remembered. Thank you. Now I remember.
So and then we wrote Here's the 4, y'all, because I can't today.
All 13 is ridiculously long. 4, so just the top 4. Let's go.
Here we go. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy.
Both available on audible.com.
And I thought I did my journey alone, and if only I were me. And then we do the 25 hottest indie authors, artists, and advocate magazine and the literary magazines. Okay, we know, y'all, we do a bunch of stuff. And if you want to check it out, everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. But we have a co-host, the lovely, fabulous Miss Tanya Todd.
The professional as well. Professional Tanya Todd. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Tanya Todd, author and actress from Las Vegas, Nevada.
You're also a producer.
Really? Tanya,
I am also a producer, but I'm usually writing and acting. Those are the two things.
I'm sorry. You're about to get like 3 more production credits. I'm so
proud of you. You have to announce that. Because we're kind of... All right. Well, that was Tanya. And they can find out what you're doing where? More about you, Tanya?
www.mstonyatodd.com. That's MsTanyaTodd.com.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you so much, Tanya. And because you're on here to hear us drone on about what we're doing, because nobody wants to know that.
The narcissists wish you would.
I know, right? But nobody really wants to know that. They want to know about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
Is that me?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm Marcie Hume, and I'm your wonderful guest. I love you guys already, and I'm so excited. What can I say? I'm Marcie Hume, and I work at an executive at A&E, and I make documentaries, and I'm just an all-in-all documentary kind of girl. That's me.
That is amazing.
I like it.
I like anyone who makes good documentaries.
If you
that's me. Obviously, you make good documentaries.
I do. There's a whole spectrum of documentaries out there, and we don't have terminology for it. Everybody thinks it's just a documentary film or reality TV, and there's all kinds of stuff in between, but we just don't have the words to talk about it. But I make the good stuff.
You mind if I take a moment to brag?
No.
Jade does. Jade really minds, but I'm doing it anyway.
We are being professional today.
Oh, right, we are being
Yes, Jade finally wins. We are being professional today. What got you into doing documentary?
Well, that is a great question, because I was listening to you guys say, and I thought, all of these things, and I thought, mine would be, and I thought getting into TV was impossible, because I thought getting into TV and documentaries was impossible, so much so that I never really thought about doing it until I met somebody who was a director in TV at the BBC, and they weren't that smart and they weren't that great, and I was like, oh, I guess this is something I could do. And then I just started working my way into it, trying to
That is not how I thought that story was going.
Well, it's true. I mean, that is just the truth of it. And so that really resonated with me. And I thought it would be impossible. And so, I just really bludgeoned my way in. Oh, wait, did I answer your question?
Yes. No, very, very much.
The answer is with a bludgeon.
Yes, it was nice how you were like.
Yeah, I just hustled, I just did the hustle. I think, we grow up with that message of you can do anything you want to do, but I think it doesn't really anchor into your mind until you get through the wall of something you think is impossible. And then you're like, oh, you literally can do whatever you want to do. I get it now, So that's what happened.
That's amazing. Oh, you mentioned the BBC, and I'm semi-prepared today. Oh, hold on.
What? She has an index card.
Woo!
What? I feel like that deserves a high five social distance style.
Yeah.
Yes.
So since you mentioned the BBC, you spent some time in Britain. Now, I love your tweet that it said it taught you how to apologize appropriately, but I'm sure you learned a lot more stuff over there. So what other things did you learn?
Ooh, I would say the number one thing I learned is being proud of my own socialness, my own extroversion. There's a thing in the UK where people would say, oh, you have to meet Marcie the American. And the American means like, oh, she's loud and friendly. And they sort of use it as a little bit of a dig. They sort of kind of think that Americans aren't authentic and aren't real when they're doing that. But, you know, we are, and, you know, we love to connect with other people and just, you know, cut right to the chase in conversations. And I really learned to value that more because I had to kind of wade through the British way of doing things, which is a little bit more, you know, like the cliche goes. Sorry, Brits, but it's true. But they're great, wonderful people. There's just a little cultural difference there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I love the UK for that. I said, well, the UK has really taught me how to be like, no, we can shut it all down and we'll consider.
And I was like, this is who I am. I am very social. I do like to connect right away and not talk about the weather.
Part of being authentic is staying who you are, even if other people don't think that that's natural behavior.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it. That was a nice condensed way of saying it. I appreciate you for that.
See, this is why we introduce her as the lovely, wonderful Tanya Todd. That's why we say it. She does
love it.
So, side note question was not written down.
What?
How did you manage with the weather? Because we go on tour every year in England, and I hate the weather. But
yeah,
I love the weather there.
I mean, I think you have to buy into the weather wherever you are, right? When you're in LA and you have sun all the time and you go, oh, I wake up every morning and the world is alive for me and I get to see everything. I think in the UK, when it was gray and gloomy, honestly, I tapped into that part of my personality too, which is like the more kind of like morose, focused on, you know, writing and kind of being meditative. I swear to God, I sort of let the weather work for me in that way. And I think also it helps you kind of like pretend you're in a movie. Like if you're having a bad day and you're like, oh, I can just like envision myself in a scene in a movie set in London that I really love. And then it just kind of like helps you, you know, enjoy what's around you. No one's ever asked me that question before. That is a fascinating question.
Welcome to the brain of Will Nona.
Yeah,
fascinating.
I gotta say, you have sincerely assisted us, or me, because every time we go over to London, it's like TV interviews and stuff like that, and I'm always in a bad mood. So because it's gray and rainy, so now I'm gonna be like, I'm in a scene. It's wonderful, and when I walk into the studio, I'll be happy.
I know, Tanya.
Yeah, well, they have the best scotch, so that always helps with my mood. Tanya, would you like to ask real questions since I've gone off on a little rant there?
Yeah,
I do, but I just want to say it's funny because you say it's gray and rainy, and I'm like, it's gray and rainy. It's same words, but I feel differently about it.
I'm with you. I can have that moment too. I can live that life.
Oh.
Okay, well, we already talked a little bit about you doing documentaries, so I want to talk about your role as a senior executive producer. Many people don't know what that entails, so would you mind walking us through what a day-to-day would be like?
Absolutely. I will say that of all the jobs I've done in television, this was one that I'd never really planned for, but once I knew it was available to me, it was kind of my dream job. Like I didn't even have it as a dream job until it became my job. And now it is. So I do, gosh, so many different things, but basically I'm looking for amazing ideas to keep the channel vibrant and alive and amazing. And I walked into a brand that I already loved. A&E, I always just thought was the coolest, most amazing brand and channel. And my job is to find content for that. So I take pitches from producers and try and get those across the line into paid development and then to series. And that takes a lot of different steps and a lot of different work and discussions and framing it and getting all questions answered. And then I come up with ideas myself that I also try and put into development that I then, give to a production company to develop and make. And in between all of that, there's just the usual job stuff, lots of fun. I mean, honestly, the meetings that we have are pretty fun. You're getting to talk about television, even when it's difficult, and there are a lot of difficult things to deal with, and always lots of different personalities, but that's kind of the joy of working in the arts. And I'm just thrilled that I get to do it. I still honestly pretty much every day have that mantra. I'm just like, you are getting to do this. Don't forget.
First, I must say it's amazing that someone that is in love with the arts that works at the Arts and Entertainment Network.
Yes, thank you.
All together so nicely.
And then secondly, I'd like to ask, am I understanding you correctly? You're kind of like a guide through development Hades in Hollywood. How did you get out?
Yeah, one of the things I love doing is working with a producer that has an idea but isn't part of a production company, doesn't know how to navigate that, and work with them to hone their idea into a really great pitch, work with them to understand what the business of it is and what it is to partner with a production company early, or find a contact at the network to go to directly, or just whatever that process is. And, I think right now we're in such an amazing revolutionary time where the literal revolution that has just happened means that we are diversifying our industry more. And I think the, voices of, Black producers and producers of color in general are being elevated and kind of getting a bigger chance finally. And it's awesome to work with people one-on-one to kind of shape an idea and bring it from like, oh, this is an idea I have, or access, it's really cool, to here's an amazing pitch that people will really, really want to hear. And so that's a part of it that I just freaking love so much.
That's amazing.
How are you connecting with people to do that? I mean, because there is an outcry for diversity and inclusion right now, and you are in a position where you can help. How can the people who need your help connect with you?
Well, that is a great question. So my company is doing a ton. They have a ton of initiatives and groups and leaders, and I won't talk about that because that's their jam. But I'm very impressed with what they're doing. On an individual level, I have always run a series of workshops for women in TV, and I think if I look back on what I was doing, I think now what the current time has put into my framework is that actually I would have loved to have actually focused on women of color at the time when I started it. But my view at the time, which is kind of like a classic white lady thing, was to focus on just all women. But we've been doing workshops to help women be able to, be able to film themselves, run sound, develop pitches, like all of that stuff. And so right now I'm also working with a great friend of mine, Yasmin, at Black TV Film Crew, to honestly just connect like Black producers, editors, directors, APs, anybody who wants to, have more contacts, get a leg up in the business, grow in their career, connecting them with a production company head or a network person, whatever they need to sort of help expand their horizons. And so I encourage everybody to go to Black TV Film Crew and check them out. They are really awesome. And honestly, doors open to me personally. I'm here for it. Like, I'm here to have conversations and make connections.
Well, expect my call.
Don't ever tell a narcissist that, because I'm going to be like, excuse me, quick pitch. Do you want to do a TV show about 3 little Black girls?
Narcissists don't know they're narcissists, really, or they wouldn't.
That's so true.
I think it's true.
Uh-oh.
Through my brain.
Wait, now you're not supposed to call out our what do they call it?
I don't know.
The sticks. A stick.
Yes.
Call it out. I'm joking.
But, I mean,
it doesn't
Marcie,
matter.
You can do whatever you like. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, Marcie, I mean, I don't think it's a problem that you started off just focusing on women. As you're growing, you're learning about the needs of different intersections. And I'm sure whatever you did then is helping you to help people of color now.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I think in general, the reason I started those workshops was honestly because I tell the story at every single workshop that's for camera. So Some people have heard this. But, you know, I was on set, I remember back, it was in my UK days in London on a rainy shoot day, and the male showrunner said, okay, who's gonna shoot B and C camera, and went around to every dude on set and was like, can you shoot this? Can you shoot this? Okay, great. Literally just systematically skipping the women. But it's also because women, when asked if they can shoot, oftentimes go, oh, I can shoot a little, but not very well. Whereas in general, dudes say like, yeah, I can shoot. And in watching the different levels of what people would say versus their capacity for filming and their skills, I was like, this is not adding up. Like whatever's happening with the confidence and ideas that women have about themselves, you know, about how they can use a camera or not, it sort of maps onto mathematics, you know, how we sort of grow up thinking that like women are bad at math. I mean, it's sort of a direct analogy.
You mean the math is hard, Barbie.
Exactly, yeah, her. And so that's how it started. And I appreciate your comment. And yes, I think they're worthwhile in that way for sure. And yeah, just, you know, both expanding and honing in on things that feel the most needed in our industry in that way. So it's constantly evolving like we're supposed to.
Right. And, you know, I do think you're right that women are more inclined to imposter syndrome. So they're less likely to try to sell themselves beyond what they really are.
Yeah.
But then when you add on the intersection of being part of the LGBTQ community or being part of the Black community or Latina community, you're also told, okay, but these things aren't for people like you either. You can do anything you want, but you can't be different, you know?
Yeah. And those unspoken ideas, I find them really hard to articulate to people outside of the business because they are there and they are strong and they are alive in people's minds and hearts. And we have to intentionally break them. And we have to, you know, it's up to us and those people in the industry to open the doors. I think it's down to every single person to look around their immediate world and kind of think, okay, great, what world do I want to be in and work in? And what can I do to facilitate that? So, you know, there are a lot of levels I think people could work on to make changes.
Well, I appreciate your commitment to that because you don't have to do it. You choose to do it.
Yeah, we got to choose to do it.
That's the thing right there. You have to choose to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're complacent in it.
Yep. That is it.
I do want to switch gears a little bit just to ask, how has your day-to-day changed since lockdown? I mean, it sounds like you're able to do your job very well from home, but I'm sure that there's the networking aspect and getting to sit in a room and discuss things. It's not going to be quite the same.
Going out to dinners. I mean, I always loved a meeting over a meal. What can I say? Just a food enthusiast without anything about food or restaurants, just liking to eat. Yeah, it has changed a lot. I actually left New York during the pandemic, and went to stay with my mom, who I haven't lived in an environment with since I was 17 years old. And that has been transformative and amazing and has really, truly changed my worldview because I've always just been a hustler out there in the cities, either London or LA or New York, just making things happen and doing it. And I'm still—
That's interesting because you're living all this fabulous lifestyle and in a time of crisis, I'm going home.
Yeah, definitely. And it has massively focused me on what I care about the most. And I think, I mean, I love socializing and going out and, you know, going to parades and parties and whatever a lot, but I also haven't really missed it. I've been really focused on my work, my job, and focused on the work, as you can tell, and focused on, you know, things that I really, really care about. And it has been awesome. Honestly.
You seem to be thriving. So whatever you're doing, it's working.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super lucky, right? Like I had a place to go. I have a job that I love. Like I'm just ridiculously lucky. And so obviously I'm trying to use that to sort of also look at the world around me and figure out what I can do to support the people I love or the people that need it in the best way possible. Cause that always also makes you feel good, right? To do that. So.
Has it affected your ability to work on documentaries at all?
Well, I have a documentary that I've been making. They take me forever because I'm always working in television full time while I make documentary films. I never really have proper financing for them. I usually just kind of like hustle and make them happen. So right now I'm in the edit on one, and it has served me well because I have this amazing editor who is, in quarantine like everybody else, and focusing in on that edit. So it has luckily benefited me. I feel ridiculously lucky. So that's why I have to find ways of like making sure that, like, I don't want to use the phrase paying it forward, but I guess I can't think of a better way of saying it. But, I got to like share the love of my experience and anything I can do to kind of share that and elevate others. That's what I'm doing.
That's wonderful.
Yes, I do. Well, it's like my generic question. What are the top 3 things that you would tell people that are striving to be like you? What are the top 3 things that you found to keep yourself going? Because
so like in TV and documentaries and in my work life and stuff. Well, that's a great question. I would say number 1 is keeping up your contacts and just really knowing that. I joke with people all the time that, when I started this job, I was like, I'm never going to not respond to an email. I'm going to be so timely on everything. And of course, like as your inbox just floods, you're like, well, am I great there? No. But I say to people, like, please keep your contacts up. Like, you can bug people, like not bug them, but if you don't hear from somebody in a couple of weeks, don't be like, oh, they don't care. Just send them another note and be like, hey, I know things are crazy. Just bring this up in your inbox. Whatever it is, like contacts are this whole business. So, and I'm sure that maps onto other businesses too.
So the importance of polite follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. And like really being confident about that follow-up and just doing it. Cause it's really, really easy to be like, oh, they don't want to hear from me. I'm not going to email them again. And I'm like, please do it. The second thing I think would be to like just always be creating your own work, whatever it is. And obviously everybody wants to get paid for their work, and that is the way it should be in this life, ideally. But I also think that just creating your own content is so crucial. And obviously you guys know that, and you've had great success, creating your own content. So I think you just have to find ways of keeping going, even if you're in between jobs or whatever it is. And third really would be that belief that I talked about at the very beginning, which is knowing that there is no one better suited than you to do, the job that you want to do. Like there's no magical trait or magical gateway, especially into TV or documentary making. There's so many people making documentaries in the world. Many of them, most of them never even make it to get finished, right? Because it's slightly harder than it looks from the outside. But I think that true deep belief that you belong there and that you can bust through, the doors of a business and get to where you want to go is so crucial that it's worth intentionally working on constantly so that you really believe it.
Thank you. Also, what are you doing next? I know that it's the time of quarantine, so probably watching Netflix or something. And then
or A&E.
Or A&E. Oh well, or whatever. And then where can people check out your workshops you've been talking about, and will you be doing?
Yeah, well, the workshops, all I got right now is a Facebook page, Calling the Shots. What is the subtitle? Women Working in Reality TV, something like that, or Women Camera Workshops for Women in Reality TV. Anyway, Calling the Shots on Facebook, or you can come find me, Marcie Hume, and then you can find the workshops from there. And that would be great. And what is up next for me is honestly just keeping hustling. Everybody is like, oh, have you watched this thing? Have you watched this? And I should be watching stuff because I work in TV and we have to keep up with things, but I have not been watching much because I've been doing my job, which is very consuming and awesome. And then on the side, I've been, doing a lot of different work and initiatives and things I care about. And then also, you know, finishing a film. And then I, you know, have other stuff I like to do, obviously. So, you know, quarantine for me has kind of just been more of the same, but without distractions. Like it's just taken away distractions, I guess, which some call socializing. But yeah, again, I haven't minded too much. It's really focused me on what I care the most about. And it's been really good for me in that way.
You said things that you care about. What are some particular charities or organizations that are important to you?
Well, I have, I have a few. Let me tell you, I'll mention Black TV Film Crew again, run by my friend Yasmin, that is amazing. And just, you know, I'm going to continue working with her to kind of foster more connections between, you know, Black directors, producers, and where they need to be. And Bronx Film Initiative is another group that I love, run by a woman named Christina Richardson. And she is incredible. She has done so much incredible work. And she basically, she always tells me about, you know, kids that grow up in LA who have never seen the beach or never been to a film set and just haven't had access to the world in a way where they know they could make a film. And she empowers kids from all sorts of backgrounds to know that they have access. Their stories matter, their voices matter, they can be heard, they can find equipment and find ways of making films and getting their voices out there. So Bronx Film Initiative does this amazing screenwriting workshop where they like make a movie in a certain amount of time, and, you know, to arranging set visits, just all kinds of stuff. So those are definitely my two favorites. Also Black Film Space in New York is awesome if you want to check them out. So yeah, I'm a big fan of kind of grassroots people that are just like, I'm going to change things. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to rent this room, invite these people, do this thing. And, you know, there are a lot of great, huge organizations that I feel like you will all know of. So I don't need to say them out loud. But, you know, the folks that have started these groups are just incredible. You know, they've just made things happen. And, you know, the last thing I'll say about that, thank you for hearing this long paragraph, is that you watch so many people say they want to do a thing or say they're going to do a thing, and then it sort of happens for a second and then it's gone. And I just love and admire people that start a thing and grow it and never stop doing it. And those are my people. And I love to elevate those organizations as much as I can. So you can find all of those organizations on Instagram and Facebook and their own websites. Black TV Film Crew, Bronx Film Initiative, Black Film Space.
Nice. Thank you. And you did that so. I feel like she should wrap up the end of the show.
Yeah.
But I feel like I should just give her the information.
If we pause the recording, can you wrap up the show?
Come on, I love a wrap up.
All right. So Tanya, tell us what's going on with you as we wrap up the show.
Well, as we discussed before this show, I filmed my scenes for Cleopatra yesterday, and that is going to be streaming on August 23rd. You know, I will give you guys the PayPal account. We were going to do this show live for an audience, but we can't do that now. So we filmed it and we're going to stream it for you. But because we can't sell tickets, if the actors are to be paid, we would appreciate your donations. And then we're also doing a paid Q&A with the cast and the director and hopefully the writer, because it's a mashup of Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, or Antony and Cleopatra. So that took some work to integrate those two stories together. I'm hoping to get her on board for the Q&A as well. That's August 23rd.
Thank you.
And you know that we'll be there.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
We were supposed to be there in Vegas when it happened, but you know, life happened instead. COVID happened instead. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and wrap us up. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment, go to the ladies tab, go to the middle, see the charities that we probably support. Yes, we know that times are hard, so you might not have money to support them, and that's okay. Maybe you just have some extra things that you were thinking about donating anyway. You might want to think about them. Or if you can't do that, and that's okay too, let's just remember that we can always go to their website and go to the contact us page and just write them a nice note. Like, thank you so much for doing the wonderful work that you do in the world. We appreciate it, because who of us doesn't need encouragement? I need encouragement. We all need some encouragement every once in a while. So we thank you in advance for that. And remember, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and acceptance. So from bye-bye, you guys, from Winona,
Jade, Tanya, and all right. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.